Hello friends, in this video we are going to learn about Python operators. Operators are used to perform operations on variables and values. The values or variables on which we perform the operation are called operands. So look at this example. This is the addition operator. So this plus operator is called the addition operator, and we are performing the addition between two variables x and y. So in this case, the operands are the variables x and y. As we are performing the operation on these variables x and y, so these are called the operands. So there are several type of operators in Python. So the operators are arithmetic operators, assignment operators, comparison operators. Comparison operators are also called relational operators, logical operators, identity operators, membership operators, bitwise operators. So we will look at each of this kind of operators and we will understand these operators with several examples. So let's flip to Jupyter Notebook and let's start with the arithmetic operators. Okay, so let's have a variable called x and let's assign a value 5 to it. Let's have another variable called y and let's assign 7 to it. So we can perform operations between two variables or two values or between a variable and a value. So let's see that in action. So we can perform the operation between two variables or we can perform the operation between two values, or we can also perform it between a variable and a value like this. So let's run the cell and we get the expected output in each of the cases. So the same goes with multiplication, division and subtraction operators as well. So let's try those out as well. Let's try out the subtraction operator. And run the cell again and we get the expected output, and the same goes with multiplication and division operators as well. Run the cell, and again for division operator we'll also do the same. And we'll run the cell again. So we get the expected output. Now the next operator that we are going to discuss is the float division operator. So the name of the operator is float division operator. Fine. So what this operator does, float division operator, when applied on two variables or two values, gives you the nearest integer of the division result which is less than the division result. So let's see what we mean by that. Let's take these variables only, x and y. Okay, so the value of x is currently 5 and the value of y is 7. So if we divide y by x and store the result in a variable, or let's print it directly instead of storing it in a separate variable, let's print it directly and run the cell. So it gives us 1.4. So the division result is 1.4. Now there are two integers which are nearest to this division result. What are those integers? One integer is 1 and another integer is 2. So this number, this 1.4, this is the division result, actually lies between two integers, 1 and 2. Now, what we have just mentioned, we have mentioned that the float division operator gives you the nearest integer of the division result, which is actually less than the division result. Now, between the nearest integers 1 and 2, which number is, or which integer is actually less than this division result? Integer 1 is less than the division result. So if we apply the float division operator on y and x, it will give us 1. So let's try that out. Instead of applying the division operator, we will apply the float division operator. So this is how we write the float division operator. We use double slash. Now let's run the cell, and as expected, you get 1. Why do you get 1? Because 1 is the integer which is nearest as well as less than the division result 1.4. Now let's see another example of the float division operator. This time we have x equal to -10 and y equal to 3. Fine. So now if we print x by y, we run the cell and we get -3.33. Okay, so in this case, what do you think should be the result of the float division operator? Let's see that as well. Let's apply the float division operator and let's run the cell, and we get -4. So why do we get -4? We get -4 because the division result -3.33 actually lies between two integers, -3 and -4. So we can write it like this: -4 less than the division result less than -3. So between these two integers, -4 and -3, which integer is actually less than the division result? -4 is the integer which is less than the division result. So that's why the result of the float division operator will be -4. So the next operator that we are going to discuss is the modulus operator. Modulus operator gives you the remainder when a number is divided by another number. Fine. So let's look at an example of that. Let's have x equal to 17 and y equal to 5, and if you apply the modulus operator, (17 modulo 5), it simply gives us the remainder 2 when 17 is divided by 5. Now let's look at a different example. Let's look at an example of modulus operator applied to negative numbers. So let's have x equal to -17 and y equal to 5. Now there is a specific rule when modulus operator is applied on negative numbers. So I'm writing down the rule here. Remainder equal to numerator minus numerator float division divider, denominator into denominator. So this is the rule that is followed when modulus operator is applied on negative numbers. Fine. So for our case, let's put the numbers in their respective places. So the remainder will be minus 17 minus minus 17 floor division 5 into 5. So what is the result of the floor division operator of minus 17 and 5? It will be minus 4, right? So the result of this whole thing will be minus 4 into 5, that is minus 20. So minus 17 minus minus 20. Let's write that down. It will be minus 17 minus minus 4 into 5, that is minus 17 plus 20, that is the answer will be 3. So now let's take another cell and let's directly apply the modulus operator on x and y, and let's see whether the actual result matches our derived result or not. So let's have x equal to minus 17 and y equal to 5, and let's apply the modulus operator on them. X modulo y. Let's run the cell and we get the result which matches our derived result. So when modulus operator is applied on negative number, this is the rule that is followed. And one thing should be kept in mind, that the sign of the result or the remainder will always match the sign of the denominator. So here the sign, our denominator was 5, so the sign of the denominator was positive. That's why our remainder was also positive. So if we now take x equal to 17 and y equal to minus 5, and then if we try to apply the modulo operator on them like this, so the same rule will be followed, but this time as the sign of the denominator is negative, the sign of the remainder will also be negative. Let's run the cell and we get minus 3. Fine. Actually, there is no need to be bothered about the sign of the remainder, because this formula is sufficient enough to give us the correct remainder as well as the correct sign of the remainder. So if we apply this formula on these two numbers, it will automatically give you the sign of the remainder. So remainder equal to, let's copy it, here it will be 17 and here it will be minus 5 and here also it will be minus 5. So in this case the result will be 17 minus of, again it will be minus 4 into minus 5. So it will again be 17 minus 20, and this clearly gives you minus 3. So there is no need to be bothered about the sign of the remainder. This formula itself is sufficient enough to give you the correct sign as well as the correct magnitude of the remainder. That's it. So the last arithmetic operator that we are going to discuss is the exponentiation operator. So let's have a new cell. Exponentiation operator is nothing but a number raised to the power of another number. So let's have a look at an example of an exponentiation operation. Let's say print 5 double asterisk 2. So this double asterisk operator is actually called the exponentiation operator. So it simply means 5 square. Like if you run the cell, it will give you 25. Similarly, if you change the second or the right hand operand to 3, it will simply mean 5 cube, and if you run the cell, it will give you 125. So friends, that's it for this video. In this video, we learned about arithmetic operators. In the next video, we are going to learn about relational or comparison operators. So I have given you some exercise problems on the arithmetic operators. Please solve them and let me know the answers of each of them in the comment section. So if you have liked this video, please subscribe my channel so that you are notified when I upload more Python and data science related videos. And also please don't forget to like and share my videos so that others also get benefited from these videos. Thanks a lot for watching.